Korea drew more than 2 million foreign visitors in April for the second consecutive month, as foreign arrivals through regional airports surged and spending by inbound travelers reached a record high.
지난 4월 한국을 찾은 외국인 관광객 수가 2달 연속 200만 명을 넘어선 가운데 지방 공항을 통한 입국자 수가 급증하고 방한 관광객들의 소비액도 역대 최대치를 기록했습니다.
Yeah, nearly 6.8 million foreign travelers arrived in Korea between January and April. That's the record for any 4-month span ever on record. Chinese travelers, if you look at just the month of April, Chinese travelers were the largest group of visitors. No surprise there, followed by Japanese tourists. Tourists from the Americas and Europe totaled over 400,000. And if you look at the number of people arriving through regional airports, so outside Incheon Airport, I think, that jumped 38%. And foreign visitors spent an estimated 1.9 trillion won cumulatively in April. That's the highest single month spending ever recorded since tracking began in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, people used to come to Seoul mostly. I think they still do, but now they're more interested in other areas as well. So they're using the other regional airports. I guess going to Busan, they'd use Kimhae, and then, maybe they're going to Jeju as well. Other regions are gaining popularity.
Yeah, it's great that people are now realizing that Seoul and the metropolitan region isn't all of Korea. There are other just as beautiful places across the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
그래요. 그래서 올 1월부터 4월까지 4개월 동안 외국인 관광객이 670만 명이 넘었는데요. 이렇게 4개월 동안의 데이터 치고는 최대 기록입니다. 자, 그럼 표현을 좀 볼까요? Regional.
Yeah, we call these regional airports because they're not the main Seoul Incheon region. So any area or part of the country rather than the whole part of it. So we're talking, when we talk about foods, we can talk about regional foods, regional policies. Here we're talking about regional airports.
그렇죠. 그 지역의, 그 지방의 regional. So regional airports, 지방 공항. How about inbound travelers?
Yeah, so when we're talking, especially in tourism, when we talk about people arriving in a country or a destination from another place, we call them inbound travelers. And when they leave, the opposite, of course, it's outbound travelers.
그렇죠. 우리나라로 들어오는 외국인 관광객은 inbound travelers, 또 우리나라를 떠나서 외국으로 나가는 관광객은 outbound travelers.
Yeah. A long time ago, when we used to write those arrival cards, they used to call them embarkation and disembarkation cards, which was very confusing. But they've changed that now since, I think, to arrivals and departures or inbound and outbound.
Got it.
Yeah.
We also use this term for imports and exports.
Yes.
So inbound shipments, meaning imports, and outbound shipments, meaning exports.
Yep.
자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Korea drew more than 2 million foreign visitors in April for the second consecutive month as foreign arrivals through regional airports surged and spending by inbound travelers reached a record high. Here's headline number 2.
Favorable spring weather has boosted yields and accelerated shipments of domestic onions, driving wholesale prices down over 20% year over year, even with less land cultivated, according to the Korea Agro-Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation.
한국농수산식품유통공사에 따르면 올봄 좋은 기상 여건에 힘입어 국내 양파 수확량이 늘어나고 출하가 빨라짐에 따라 양파 도매 가격은 1년 전보다 재배 면적이 줄었음에도 20% 넘게 하락했습니다. So I guess that means there was an abundance of onions despite the lack of land.
Absolutely. There's an oversupply, as we call it. And the main reason, the main culprit being the climate, the weather, because there have been warm spring temperatures, and the rainfall has been perfectly timed. So it's been that perfect storm, so to speak, for onion farmers.
Right.
And it's plummeted so much that prices for farmers are actually below the cost of production. So farmers are holding protests nationwide, and what the response has been from officials is that three things: they're removing a lot of the oversupply from the market. They're increasing government storage stockpiles, and they're planning to export about 2,000 tons of onions to deal with the situation.
You said it's like a perfect storm earlier on. I mean, we
Yeah.
normally use this expression to talk about all these bad things happening at once. And depending on who you are, this onion situation could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, if you're a consumer, prices have gone down, so it's good. It's quite pretty good, actually.
Sure.
But for the farmers, I guess it's not good news.
No, it's not because all their work is kind of going to waste, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Favorable 보겠습니다.
Yeah, favorable, favorable in the UK. Of course, you'd add an U in there.
Yeah.
But when you're showing approval for something, or if there's an advantage over something is favorable, or it's in your favor or benefit, right?
그렇죠. 그러니까 무언가가 우호적이다가 될 수도 있겠고요. 여기서 얘기하는 favorable spring weather라는 것은 이 좋은 봄 날씨를 얘기하고
conditions,
있습니다.
right?
그렇죠. 그러니까 무언가에 유리한 그런 의미가 있다고 볼 수 있겠고요. 자, 그 다음에 이제 yield라는 단어도 우리 메인 expression은 아니지만 굉장히 유용한 단어여서 같이 좀 보자면 Y-I-E-L-D-S까지 여기 붙었네요. That means what you reap.
It's your output,
Yeah.
right? Yield, as a noun form
Yep.
in this case.
It appears a lot in business news, doesn't it?
Yes, business yield would be a little bit different when we're talking about interest rates and things
Okay.
like that. But in this case, it's the actual output that farmers produce.
그래요. 그래서 수확량을 얘기하고 있습니다. 농작물의 수확을 yield. What about accelerate?
Yeah, accelerate. We all know in the car we have the excel, right? That's short for the acceleration. If something accelerates as a verb, it speeds up. Something goes faster.
그렇죠. 엑셀 페달 그 엑셀. 그게 이제 accelerate 요 동사로도 표현이 될 수 있어요. 그러면 빨라지다. acceleration이라는 또 명사가 이제 뒤끝에 ION을 붙이면 되겠고요.
Right. And if you want to get scientific, the difference between acceleration and speed is just how fast things go. Acceleration is the rate of change, right? So
그렇죠.
the rate of the speed of something getting faster.
맞습니다. 자, 그래서 speed는 속도, acceleration은 가속화, 가속도가 되겠죠. 그래서
And the opposite would be decelerate.
그래요. 자, 그래서 accelerate. 여기서는 어떻게 쓰고 있냐면은 accelerated shipments of domestic onions. 더욱더 많이 국내에서 이게 유통이 되고 있다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 자, 그러면은 다시 보겠습니다. Favorable spring weather has boosted yields and accelerated shipments of domestic onions, driving wholesale prices down over 20% year over year, even with less land cultivated, according to the Korea Agro Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation.
A severe heat wave across India has claimed 37 lives as daytime highs spike to around 50 degrees, prompting local governments to issue emergency alerts.
인도 전역에 기록적인 폭염이 이어지는 가운데 낮 최고 기온이 50도에 육박하며 37명의 사망자가 나오자 주 정부 당국들이 폭염 경보를 발령했습니다.
Yeah, if you remember just last week, we talked about how 50 of the world's hottest cities in late April were in India.
We're all in India.
We're all in
Yeah,
India, yeah. And now we're seeing sort of the effects and consequences of that. Much of the damage here, much of the fatalities have been centered in two provinces, the Andhra Pradesh province and Telangana. In Telangana, one city, temperatures reached up to 46.3 degrees. 21 lives were recorded in the other Andhra Pradesh province or state as well, and government officials have placed sort of emergency efforts, and people are on alert, warning citizens to stay indoors between the hottest hours, between 11 and 4 p.m. And they're projecting that these heat wave conditions will persist until at least Tuesday, tomorrow.
오전 11시부터 4시 사이가 가장 덥기 때문에 특히 그 시간대에 유의하라라는 권고사항이 내려졌다고 하고요. 특히 이제 어린이, 그다음에 노년층, 또 임산부들에게 특별히 더 조심하라는 그런 권고사항들이 내려진 것 같습니다. I mean, it's hard to imagine, but I guess it just must be stifling. It's got to be, I mean, people have died from it, obviously.
Right.
Let's have a look at this expression. Instead of saying people have died, which is a very direct expression,
Yes.
it says that the severe heat wave has claimed lives. This is an interesting structure. The
Yeah.
heat wave has claimed X number of lives.
Yeah, so it's like you said, it's more neutral.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
less direct than just saying it killed someone, and it emphasizes more on the impact and what happened rather than what caused that to happen. Because we're talking about here the heat
Yeah.
caused these deaths. So instead of focusing on the heat, we're saying it claimed the lives of these people.
I think we see this a lot with calamities and weather-related news stories. So we might hear the thunderstorm, maybe not a thunderstorm. The typhoon, for example, has claimed X number of lives. The earthquake has claimed lives. It's not an expression we want to use a lot, but it is used a lot in the news.
Yeah, it's mostly in the news or
Yeah.
informal context,
Yes.
and weather is a big one.
Yep.
Or if there's, for example, a traffic accident, claim the lives of X number of people.
Exactly. 이거는 이제 같이 claim하고 lives 붙어 다니는 표현인데요. 이만큼의 사망자를 발생시켰다라고 해서 주어가 그 원인이 되는 기상 상황이나 사건이 되겠습니다. 그걸 주어로 놓고 표현을 하는 거죠. So something has claimed lives. 자, 다음 표현은 prompting local governments to do something. Prompting A to do B.
Yeah, to prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T. Again, a more cause and effect sort of relationship
Yeah.
is when we use that. It's more like encouraging or bringing out some sort of response. It basically means to cause or trigger something to happen. Right?
Prompt A to do B. A로 하여금 B를 할 수밖에 없게 하다. A를 하게 만들다. So let's say, for example, I spill my tea. And this would be a very panicky situation.
Careful there.
Then that would prompt me to quickly try and clean up, get some tissues, and, make sure it doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah. And our engineer may have a heart attack
A heart
if you
attack.
do that.
Yes, that would prompt him to have a heart attack.
Right.
So something prompts you to do something.
Yeah. If there's a crime or if there's an incident, that could prompt an investigation,
Oh, yeah.
for example, too, right?
That's true. 그러네요. 어떤 이제 사건이 벌어지면은 수사가 그 결과로 이어지겠죠. 그래서 사건으로 인해서 수사를 하게 하다. 수사가 진행이 됐다. 이런 식으로 표현을 할 때도 the incident prompted an investigation 할 수 있습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. A severe heat wave across India has claimed 37 lives as daytime highs spike to around 50 degrees, prompting local governments to issue emergency alerts. Here's headline number 4.
A record 274 climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest from the Nepalese side in a single day due to favorable weather conditions, following a delayed start to the spring season caused by icefall hazards on the standard route.
세계 최고봉인 에버레스트 정상을 하루 동안 274명이 네팔 쪽 루트를 통해 오르는데 성공하면서 이 부문 최다 기록이 세워졌습니다. 이는 최근 현지 날씨가 좋았던 데 더해 올봄 주요 루트의 대형 얼음덩어리 제거 작업으로 그간 등반 대기자들이 누적된 데 따른 결과입니다.
This happened on May 20th, this record-setting, climb or, path to the summit when 274 climbers reached there. It's not that, sure, there were a lot of people, but there was a buildup, right? Because people were having to wait out this sort of dangerous hanging glacial ice over the main route that delayed the start of the spring climbing season there. And in fact, out of all these 274 people, one climber from Ecuador actually reached the summit without any supplemental bottled oxygen. He did it independently, which is pretty amazing, but
It could be dangerous.
it could be dangerous, right? The trek alone is dangerous in and of itself, but
Yeah.
I suspect maybe Ecuador is maybe on a higher altitude, possibly.
okay.
So maybe that climber was used to the sort of the change in altitude there. But nonetheless, there's a big rush to get to the summit.
Yep, definitely that could be the case. Okay, not too long ago we learnt the verb to summit, which is a little bit different to the noun, the summit, but you can use it in this situation to say the climbers summited
The summit.
the
Or you
summit
could
of
say,
Mount
yeah,
Everest. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but there was a delayed start.
Yeah. So when there's a situation that something begins later than originally planned, we say there's a delayed start. You could say there's a delayed start to a flight or a school, right? Indicating that the time has been pushed back a little bit.
There was definitely no delayed start to our show.
Oh, no.
We always start at 8 a.m. sharp.
Yes, must.
Delayed start는 지연된 시작이 되겠습니다. Now, what about a hazard?
Hazard, H-A-Z-A-R-D, something that can cause danger or harm. If you're a golfer, you know what a hazard is. These are the bunkers or the water hazards, things that are dangerous to golfers for their score, perhaps.
자, 위험 요소라는 뜻입니다. In golf, if your golf ball falls into these areas, then you have a hard time getting the ball out, normally. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼까요? A record 274 climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest from the Nepalese side in a single day due to favorable weather conditions following a delayed start to the spring season caused by icefall hazards on the standard route. Let's move on to our final headline.
OpenAI has claimed a major advance in AI reasoning after its technology successfully solved Paul Erdős's 1946 planar unit distance problem, an 80-year-old math challenge calculating the maximum number of equidistant dot pairs on a sheet of paper.
오픈AI가 자사 인공지능 기술로 1946년에 폴 에르데시가 제시한 평면 단위 거리 문제를 풀어내 AI 추론 분야에서 중대한 진전을 이뤘다고 발표했습니다. 이 문제는 평면 위에 서로 같은 거리만큼 떨어져 있는 점들의 쌍을 최대 몇 개 만들 수 있는지를 묻는 것으로 지난 80년 동안 수학계의 난제였습니다.
So it's not that AI, first of all, I'm not going to try and, explain what this actual theorem is. I'm not a mathematician, obviously, but what this AI did was not that it gave a definitive answer to the math challenge, but it merely proved that what Paul Erdős did back in 1946 was not complete. The original proposal was actually too low in this case. So unlike a previous mistake by OpenAI involving Erdős's literature, this finding sort of verified and co-authored by prominent outside mathematicians. So it's been proven that AI was correct in this case.
자, 아무래도 AI가 수학 문제를 풀거나 그러는 데 있어서는 우리 인간보다 월등히 빠르고 또 이제 그동안에 풀지 못했던 난제들을 풀 수 있을 것으로 기대되는 부분이 많이 있기는 합니다만 지금 이거 같은 경우에는 기존의 AI가 풀었던 것이 맞다라는 것을 재입증했다는 얘기인가요?
It was incomplete. It was actually lower. Yeah, it was lower than originally proposed.
알겠습니다. 그래서 이제 이번에는 그 문제를 풀어서 그 난제가 정말 이제 더 이상 난제가 아닌 게 됐네요. 자, 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. Let's have a look at claiming a major advance. Oh, we had claim lives before.
Yeah, so that word claim is out here again. When you claim something here, in this case, you're asserting or you're stating something, right? And a major advance as a noun would be a significant improvement or a breakthrough that has been made.
So it's a very different meaning.
A little bit different, to claim something. Yeah.
그래요. 여기서 말하는 claim something은요, 무엇임을 주장하다, 선언하다 이런 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 보여주다 이렇게 할 수도 있고요. 근데 앞서서 claim lives라고 했을 때는 몇 명의 사망자가 나왔다라는 의미였으니까 해석은 어쨌든 확연히 다릅니다.
Yeah. It'd be more like taking lives.
그런
when you claim
느낌이
something.
있죠.
Yeah.
네, 그래서 사실 클레임이 쓰인 거긴 한데 어원을 따지고 보면은 겹치는 부분도 있기는 합니다만 그래도 여기서는 이 오픈 AI가 이러한 것을 했다고 발표했다, 주장했다 이렇게 볼 수 있겠고요. And what about to calculate?
Yeah, calculating something simply like a calculator.
Yeah.
You're determining something like an output using math or numbers or to estimate something very carefully, right?
그래요. 네. 계산하다. 그래서 계산기를 영어로는 calculator라고 합니다. 자, 하나만 더 볼까요? Equidistant.
Yeah, equidistant, I say equidistant.
Okay.
It's when two things are the same distance from one point. So I guess a good example would be a circle is basically a collection of dots equidistant from the center, and you put them all together, and it creates a circle, right?
그러네요. 그 앞부분은 동등하다라는 뜻이에요. EQUI라는 요 접두어가. 그다음 뒤엔 distant라는 것은 거리를 얘기하고 있기 때문에 무엇으로부터 등거리, 무엇으로부터 거리가 같다라는 얘기를 하고 있는 거겠죠. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. OpenAI has claimed a major advance in AI reasoning after its technology successfully solved Paul Erdosh's 1946 planar unit distance problem, an 80-year-old math challenge calculating the maximum number of equidistant dot pairs on a sheet of paper. All right. Well, that's it for the headlines.
The US and Iran have reportedly established a Memorandum of Understanding framework to extend their ceasefire by 60 days, during which the Strait of Hormuz will be demined and reopened within 30 days.
미국과 이란이 휴전 기간을 60일 연장하는 내용의 양해각서 초안을 마련했으며 여기에는 30일 내로 호르무즈 해협의 기뢰를 제거해 통행을 재개한다는 내용이 포함된 것으로 알려졌습니다.
Fingers crossed this goes well. There's no final agreement that's been signed yet, but it seems like progress is being made, at least according to officials, though the negotiations are fragile and politically sensitive, they say. The first thing is ending the conflict and stabilizing global energy markets. Right. That's the big thing on the table to get sorted. The Strait of Hormuz demined and reopened within 30 days. However, there is the other issue of nuclear weapons. And so these nuclear negotiations are going to be postponed to later talks, it seems. We'll see what happens, but the oil markets have been positive in their reaction. And if we have our supplies undisrupted once again, I think everybody's going to breathe a sigh of relief.
Absolutely. So within the next month, hopefully, the Strait of Hormuz will reopen.
Yes.
It will also be demined.
Yes, and that means the mines will be taken out because the noun a mine, M-I-N-E, is an underwater explosive device.
그래요. 지뢰, mine, 지뢰밭, minefield. demine는 지뢰를 제거하다. 자, 그래서 그렇게 기뢰를 제거하는 작업이 앞으로 한 달 내에 있을 것으로 이렇게 예상이 되고요. 그렇게 되면은 한 달 내로 어느 정도 이제 호르무즈 해협을 통한 통행이 자유로워질 것으로 좀 기대가 됩니다. Okay, let's also have a look at this whole story. It's reportedly what's going on.
Yes, well, we have no final agreement. We only have what people have reported to us, only what they have told us.
And also, we haven't been there ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So we use this term when there is some uncertainty around things. When we haven't seen it with our own two eyes, you'll find reportedly, allegedly also being used in similar circumstances. Allegedly is usually for more negative things, when someone has supposedly done something wrong. Reportedly is when someone has given us what they say are the facts. However, they may not be 100% accurate. As you said, we haven't seen it for ourselves.
그렇죠. 사실 이제 이렇게 보도를 할 경우에는 직접 리포터가 가서 두 눈으로 보고 확인하고 말했을 때는 reportedly라는 단어를 쓸 필요가 없습니다. 그럼 직접 봤으니까 이러합니다. 양해각서를 체결했습니다. 뭐 이렇게 이런 내용이 포함됐습니다. 이렇게 확정적으로 얘기할 수 있지만 그렇지 않으면 이렇다고 합니다. 이렇다고 외신이 보도를 하고 있습니다. 라는 이제 제3자를 통해서 들었다라는 걸 밝혀야 되거든요. 뉴스의 특성상 그렇기 때문에 영어에서는 이럴 때 reportedly를 쓰면 되는 거죠. Also an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes.
That's just a fixed term. 양해각서.
And it's it's the pre-contract contract, as it were.
그래요.
It's the thing that you sign before you sign the final agreement saying, we're on the right track. We'll get to an agreement. This is to say we understand each other.
그렇죠. 근데 그 양해각서의 틀, 그 어떤 초안이 지금 마련됐다라고 해서 a memorandum of understanding framework has been established.
Yes.
다시 읽어보겠습니다. The US and Iran have reportedly established a memorandum of understanding framework to extend their ceasefire by 60 days, during which the Strait of Hormuz will be demined and reopened within 30 days. All right, let's move on to the second headline.
Intensified US economic sanctions and a domestic energy crisis have severely impacted Cuba's tourism sector, with international arrivals dropping to about half of previous levels between January and April.
미국의 경제 제재 강화와 자국 내 전력난으로 인해 쿠바의 관광 산업이 급격히 위축된 가운데 올해 1월에서 4월 쿠바를 찾은 외국인 관광객 수가 지난해 같은 기간보다 절반가량 줄어든 것으로 나타났습니다. So we're talking about Cuba.
Yes.
Tell us more.
We're talking about the period January through till April. Compared to last year, there was a drop of 55.8%. I mean, if we look at Canada, Canadian tourists are the biggest number that come into Cuba. That dropped by more than 60%. We saw less tourists from Russia, from Argentina, from China. And it's all to do with tensions with the US. There are tightenings of sanctions and pressures and also all sorts of issues going on. And Cuba itself has always had issues with fuel shortages and blackouts, problems with electricity, and those have worsened. And, things and people are not happy in Cuba at the moment. There's a lot of unrest. People are not happy with the government. And we'll see what happens, but certainly Cuba seems to be in a bit of a humanitarian and economic crisis.
And unrest means a very unstable situation.
Yes.
People maybe rioting. There could be some clashes here and there.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, economic sanctions, 경제 제재. We're looking at American economic sanctions, and these have been put on Cuba.
Yes.
And they've also intensified.
They have got stronger. If something intensifies, we get more of it. It becomes stronger in some way. So here it means the sanctions are tightening, meaning they're becoming more strict, or they're stopping more of the items not coming through, whatever it may be.
Right. Intensify라는 것은 강화한다라는 의미가 있어서요. 지금 이런 미국의 경제 제재가 더 강화됐다. That's one reason for Cuba's tourism sector to be negatively impacted. What is the tourism sector?
Well, the tourism sector is, the tourism industry. When we use the term sector, this is to say, this lot of businesses or this group of workers or whatever it is. So, for example, we might have the healthcare sector, the tourism sector, the industrial sector, the farming sector. It's just a way of packaging or categorizing certain groups.
그래서 부문이라는 뜻의 sector, 그리고 tourism이 붙어서 관광 부문, 즉 관광 산업을 얘기하고 있고요. Healthcare sector, public sector, tourism sector, financial sector
Yes.
다 가능하죠. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Intensified US economic sanctions and a domestic energy crisis have severely impacted Cuba's tourism sector, with international arrivals dropping to about half of previous levels between January and April.
Surging prices for conventional plastic, driven by geopolitical conflict and stricter European environmental mandates, have made recycled alternatives more cost competitive and created a massive supply shortage for certified eco-friendly materials.
이란 전쟁에 유럽연합의 강화된 환경 규제까지 겹치면서 일반 플라스틱 가격이 급등하자 재활용 플라스틱의 가격 경쟁력이 상대적으로 높아져 친환경 인증 소재 분야에서는 심각한 공급 부족 현상이 발생하고 있습니다. So are they saying that the eco-friendly versions are taking a hit from this situation?
Well, no, I think the issue is that there's not enough supply to meet the demand.
Okay.
Yeah, because eco-friendly plastics now, these recycled plastics, are a little bit cheaper because thanks to what's happening in Iran, in the Middle East, the price of what they call virgin plastic, the freshly made plastic, is going up and up and up. And also there are issues in the EU in terms of what you can now use. They have these two new regulations, packaging waste regulation and the end-of-life vehicle regulation, means recycled plastics are sometimes the best way or even perhaps the only way to go.
Right, so the eco-friendly plastic is more popular, it's cheaper, but you just don't have enough.
Well, this is the issue because experts think that by 2030 we're going to need 16.5 million tons of RPET, the recycled plastic. And that's going to be an issue because we can't recycle plastic fast enough, or we don't have enough of it. And the other issue is if it's going to be up to standard, because for some things we need food grade plastic. So, of course, we don't want to have any issues of leaching of chemicals.
Yeah.
So there are all sorts of issues going on. The other issue is when we're collecting and sorting and recycling plastic, it's not done as effectively as it should be. There are better ways we could be doing it. So governments, so businesses are going to have to look at how to more efficiently recycle plastic and get that plastic out to the market that wants it.
네. 지금 여러 가지 상황들로 인해서 일반 플라스틱이 더 비싸고요. 친환경의 재활용 플라스틱이 이제 가격 면에서도 더 매력이 있지만 이렇게 수요가 높다 보니까 공급량이 많이 부족한 상황인 것 같습니다. Let's have a look at environmental mandates.
Well, a mandate is an order. It's an official order. Someone saying you have to do this. So we talk about government mandates a lot. It's basically a new law or bill that's being passed saying we have to do this.
환경 규제네요. 그러니까 environmental mandate. 그다음에 이제 cost competitive라고 하면은 가격 경쟁력이 있다. So it's relatively cheaper.
Yes.
What about something that's certified?
Well, it has a certificate. And if you have a certificate, you have proven that you or it are who you are or what it is. For example, we talk about having a certified professional.
Yeah.
Means they have a certificate, they have the degree or they have the license to do whatever job they want to do, like being a doctor or a lawyer.
Exactly.
And if something is certified as in a product, it's got the seal of approval, the stamp of approval from the government or from the regulator saying this is up to this standard. This is the right thing to use for whatever it is.
그렇죠. 공인된, 인증받은, 그래서 직업과 많이 쓰기도 하고 지금처럼 어떤 물건에 대해서도 쓸 수 있는데요. A certified accountant, a certified doctor, as you said.
Yes.
Or in this case, a certified eco-friendly material.
Yeah, or certified organic food.
Yes. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Surging prices for conventional plastic, driven by geopolitical conflict and stricter European environmental mandates, have made recycled alternatives more cost competitive and created a massive supply shortage for certified eco-friendly materials. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
The KBO has reached the 4 million fan milestone in a historic fast 222 games, putting the league on track to break last year's single season attendance record.
2026 한국 프로야구가 역대 최단 기간인 222경기 만에 관중 400만 명을 돌파해 이 추세라면 지난 시즌 관중 동원 기록을 경신할 수도 있을 것으로 보입니다. So in sports news, we're looking at baseball and how popular it is here in Korea.
And we're talking about being popular in the stalls, in the stadium. People are going to watch it. Last season, it was an all-time high of 12.3 million fans over the season. And we're on the way to there because it took 230 games last season to get to the 4 million attendance mark. We're already there at 222 games. We're getting more fans on average per game. Last season it was 16,839 per game. This year it's 18,179. So we're talking, 1,500 extra per game. A lot more people are coming to the games. And all 10 of the teams in the KBO are saying they've got better average attendance compared to last year. It's going to be a record-breaking year, I think.
그렇죠. 작년 같은 경우에는 관중 400만 명을 돌파한 게 230경기만이었는데 올해는 222경기 만에 벌써 돌파를 했기 때문에 더 빠른 속도로 이 마일스톤을 넘었다고 볼 수 있겠죠. 그러니까 총 관중 수도 아마 작년보다 훨씬 높을 것이다. 이렇게 예상을 좀 해볼 수 있는 겁니다. So the number of people going to see baseball, that figure is on track to break last year's record.
Yes, and if something is on track to do something, it's on the way to doing it. It's on the path. It is likely to do that. It is predicted that it will do that. So we use this in a very positive sense. To be on track to do something means there's a good chance you're going to be successful or you're going to get to where you need to go.
그래서 무언가를 향해 순조롭게 잘 나아가고 있다는 얘기입니다. 이렇게 될 것 같아요. 라는 말이죠. What about attendance record?
Well, it's when we have a record of something here, meaning we're beating the number of something. You know, we talk about a world record or the Guinness World Records breaking a record. And here an attendance record is the number of people who attended, and it's being the most people ever.
attendance는 참석 아니면은 출석이 될 수 있는데 attendance record가 지금 이제 야구 경기의 맥락에서 봤을 때는 관중 기록, 그러니까 몇 명이 그 야구를 보러 갔는지 그 최다 관중 기록을 얘기하죠.
Well, in that case, it's the other record.
Okay. What?
As opposed to breaking a record, it's the recording of data.
What is?
Maybe I've misunderstood, but the recording of the number of attendance.
그렇죠.
Yes.
네. 기록하다의 의미가 또
네.
record라고 하면은 될 수가 있겠죠. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The KBO has reached the 4 million fan milestone in a historic fast 222 games, putting the lead on track to break last year's single season attendance record. All right, well, let's move on to the final headline.
Failing to immediately compensate for sleep deprivation the following day can increase your mortality risk by up to 42%, while catching up on lost sleep right away mitigates this risk, according to a joint US-China research.
수면이 부족한 날 바로 잠을 보충하지 않고 방치하게 되면 사망 위험성이 최대 42%까지 높아지는 반면 수면 부족 직후 바로 보충할 경우는 이런 위험이 줄어든다는 중국 칭화대와 미국 하버드대의 공동 연구 결과가 나왔습니다.
Yes, so we all need our sleep, and this new research, this joint study by Tsinghua University and Harvard University, is saying that if we don't make up lost sleep, then there's a higher chance of mortality. So there's a 15% higher risk if you lose 2.5 to 3.5 hours of sleep in that night, or 42% higher risk if you lose 3.5 hours sleep or more. But if you sleep the next day, if you make it up the next day, then that risk, that increase disappears. So the advice is, if you didn't get enough sleep, sleep more the next day.
As soon as you can.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, if you have to work, you have to work. But when work finishes, go to bed early.
When possible, of course. 자, 그래서 이렇게 수면이 부족할 때 그것을 보충하는 거, compensating for lack of sleep. 그게 굉장히 중요한데 언제 하느냐가 또 굉장히 중요하다고 하는 거죠. 이 수면 부족은 sleep deprivation. So you can be deprived of sleep.
Yeah. So we talk about being deprived of sleep or being sleep deprived.
수면 부족한 걸 얘기하는데 그럴 때 이제 최대한 빨리 가능하면 그날 그 보충을 하면은 더 좋다고 합니다. Let's have a look at catching up on lost sleep.
Well, if we catch up on something, we get back to where we should be. So we can catch up on work, we can catch up on school, we can catch up on sleep, meaning we've missed out on something, in this case sleep, so we haven't had the usual amount, and therefore if we sleep more, we're catching up, we're having that extra put back in, so we're back to normal.
Catching up, 따라잡다. Catching up on something. 무엇을 이제 하는 행동을 따라잡는 건데요. 만회한다라는 의미로도 볼 수 있고, catching up on lost sleep. 부족한 잠을 보충하다 이런 의미로 지금 쓰고 있는데요. 오늘 만약에 잠을 좀 못 잤다. 그럼 바로 내일이라도 보충을 하는 게 가장 좋다고 합니다. Mitigating, what's that?
If we mitigate something, we make it less bad. We make it better than it would have been otherwise. So we're always using it with a negative impact or a negative effect. If we mitigate that impact or effect, or that risk in this case, we're making it less than it should have been before.
그래요. 무언가를 줄이거나 완화할 때 mitigating이라고 합니다. 그래서 여기서 말하는 거는 mitigating the risk of dying in this case.
Yes.
그래서 어떤 위험성을 줄이기 위해서는 최대한 빨리 부족한 잠을 보충하는 것이 좋다. 이런 연구입니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Failing to immediately compensate for sleep deprivation the following day can increase your mortality risk by up to 42%, while catching up on lost sleep right away mitigates this risk, according to a joint US-China research. All right, well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
Admission to Korea's royal palaces and tombs of the Joseon dynasty will become free every Wednesday on a rolling basis, starting with the royal tombs today.
정부의 문화가 있는 날 정책 확대에 맞춰 오늘부터 조선 왕릉을 시작으로 매주 수요일에 궁궐과 왕릉의 무료 개방 조치가 순차적으로 시행됩니다. All right, so every Wednesday from today.
Yeah, Wednesday. So it's Culture Day, and this designation or this free admission plan, they're going to expand this in phases following the government's decision to designate every Wednesday as Culture Day. So starting today, all royal tombs of the Joseon dynasty will offer free entry, and the policy will gradually extend to Deoksugung in August and Changdeokgung, Changgyeonggung, and Jongmyo Shrine in October. And a decision on including Gyeongbokgung will be made later due to concerns over overcrowding and visitor safety. So officials say that they are upgrading visitor management, guidance systems, ticketing services, and safety measures to accommodate the expected increase in attendance.
일단은 이제 조선 왕릉을 시작으로 하는데요. 궁궐과 왕릉 무료로 수요일마다 방문하실 수 있게 될 거고 추후에는 덕수궁이라든지 창덕궁, 창경궁, 종묘 등등도 무료로 수요일마다 가실 수 있습니다. Let's have a look at admission to something.
Yeah, admission to something. So admission to a place, in this case, it refers to the formal or authorized permission to enter or visit a place, because you can't just go to certain places without paying an admissions fee.
Yeah, exactly. 입장료, admission fee. 그래서 입장, admission. 이게 입학이 될 수도 있어요.
Yes.
학교면은.
Yeah. So if you are joining a specific location or institution, as in a college or university, you can also say, you have been admitted to a school, or you applied for admission to a school.
그래요. 그래서 입학의 의미, 또 입장의 의미가 다 있다는 거. Admission, to be admitted. What about on a rolling basis?
On a rolling basis basically means on a first come, first served basis. And for example, this is also used when we're talking about college admissions as well. You can say rolling admissions or admissions or applications are accepted on a rolling basis. And it means that applications are evaluated as they come and decisions are made as they come. So it's best to do this fast. Do it early rather than waiting until the deadline to send something in.
그러니까 사람의 경우에는 오는 순서대로, 그러나 여기서는 순차적으로 수요일마다 이런 행사들이 열릴 거다. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Admission to Korea's royal palaces and tombs of the Joseon dynasty will become free every Wednesday on a rolling basis, starting with the royal tombs today. Let's move on to the second headline.
BTS has become the first Asian act to win Artist of the Year twice at the American Music Awards, beating out global icons like Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, and Bruno Mars.
방탄소년단이 American Music Awards에서 테일러 스위프트, 배드버니, 브루노 마스 등 세계적인 스타들을 제치고 올해의 아티스트상을 수상했습니다. 이로써 BTS는 지난 2021년에 이어 이 상을 통산 2번 수상한 최초의 아시아 가수라는 기록을 갖게 됐습니다. The AMAs.
Yes, and it's a really, really amazing feat if you think about it. So they won the prestigious Artist of the Year award at the AMAs in Las Vegas, marking the group's second victory in the ceremony's top category after their historic first win back in 2021. The group beat out major international stars like Bad Bunny, Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, returning to the AMAs stage for the first time in 5 years following the completion duration of the members' military service. They also won Song of the Summer for Swim and Best Male K-pop Artist. And accepting the award, the leader, RM, thanked fans worldwide, while Jimin expressed gratitude to their fans, ARMY, in both English and Korean. And to note, there were other K-pop winners at the AMAs. Cat's Eye, they earned 3 awards and twice, which was named Best Female K-pop Artist, while the Netflix film K-pop Demon Hunters and its soundtrack Golden collected 4 awards.
K-pop 관련된 그룹과 작품이 수상을 많이 했네요. 지금 얘기한 Cat's Eye 같은 경우에는 미국을 베이스로 하고 있는 K-pop girl 그룹인데 New Artist of the Year Award를 받았다고 합니다. 그 다음에 이제 그 수상 소감에서 BTS가 우리의 inspiration이었다라면서 BTS에게 또 감사를 표했다면서요?
And I'm sure they are the inspiration for many K-pop groups and many artists.
그다음에 뭐 놀랍지 않습니다. K-pop Demon Hunters의 Golden이 또 상을 많이 받았는데 Song of the Year, Best Pop Song, Best Vocal Performance, Best Soundtrack. They won all of these, four awards. And then, of course, Twice was named Best Female K-pop Artist. They have a category for K-pop artists.
I know, isn't it amazing? It's the American Music Awards, and they have a category for K-pop artists.
It's amazing. Yeah, it is. Okay, what's an act?
An act. So an act in this case is referring to a performing group or individual musician. So BTS was among the many acts to receive awards at the AMAs this year.
여러 의미가 있지만 자, 이런 그 뮤직 페스티벌 뭐 수상하는 그런 시상식에서 말하는 act는 musical group 그 musician을 말합니다. 그래서 여기서는 BTS를 하나의 act라고 표현을 하고 있죠.
Yep.
And what about beating out someone?
That means to defeat or outperform a competitor to win a prize, position, and it often implies a very narrow victory over specific rivals.
To beat out someone, 누구를 이기다. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. BTS has become the first Asian act to win Artist of the Year twice at the American Music Awards or the AMAs, beating out global icons like Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, and Bruno Mars.
A farmer in the city of Changwon has grown a watermelon weighing over 23 kilograms, more than double the size of a typical watermelon sold in stores, according to city officials.
경남 창원의 한 농가에서 시중에 유통되는 것보다 2배 이상 큰 23kg이 넘는 수박이 수확돼 화제입니다. What a massive watermelon.
Yes, it's massive, but I was wondering how it compares to like Guinness World Records. So I looked it up.
Okay,
and
do tell.
The heaviest watermelon, according to the Guinness World Records, was 159 kilograms.
Oh my gosh. 기네스 기록에는 좀 못 미치지만 그래도요. 시중에서 판매되는 수박보다는 2배 정도나 무거운 큰 23kg의 수박입니다. 기네스 오른 그 100kg이 넘는 수박은 대체 어떤 수박? 어느 나라에서?
It was from the US.
미국에서요.
Yeah.
일조량이 또 있고 그러니까. 와, 그 수박 맞아요?
It looks like a watermelon. Yes.
I mean, they have massive pumpkins and things like that there
but
as well.
It is shaped a little bit differently because in Korea, the watermelons are shaped very
round.
spherical, right? But in the US, the watermelons are a little bit more oval shaped.
Like, sort of like an oblong.
Yes.
그래요. 자, 모양은 조금 다르긴 하죠. 서양의 그 과일과 우리의 과일이.
And they taste different too.
맛도. 우리 과일이 근데 더 달아요.
So good, yes.
제 생각엔.
Well, I agree.
물론 캘리포니아 같은 데서 나는 과일이
Oranges,
굉장히 귤 같은 거 굉장히 달다고 하는데 그냥 따뜻하니까 1년 내내. 그렇지만
most other fruits and
pears,
vegetables,
juicy and sweet.
Apples,
watermelons so sweet.
Strawberries,
in Korea, strawberries. 그러니까요. 우리나라 과일이
We are blessed.
제 생각에는 당도가 훨씬 더 높은 것 같다는 생각이 좀 들어요. This is very anecdotal, but nonetheless, we both agree, right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
All right.
So tell us about this watermelon.
Yeah, so about the watermelon that was grown in Changwon. So it was 23.63 kilograms. It's more than double or twice the size of a typical watermelon sold in stores. It's called the super watermelon. And it was grown by a veteran farmer in Urim village. And it was donated to the local administrative welfare center to help promote the region's watermelon industry. And this, I think, is a really good idea because I didn't know Changwon was famous for watermelon.
Well, now we do.
Now we do, yeah. So I mentioned that he's a veteran farmer. He's been cultivating crops for about 30 years and previously won top honors at the Changwon Watermelon Festival's quality contest back in 2018 and 2019. So they're saying that the watermelon, this big watermelon, will be on display at the Daesanmyeon Administrative Welfare Center through the week. And maybe they'll have a party afterwards and share it.
Who knows? A veteran something. 우리가 이제 베테랑이라고 하는 게 그 단어거든요.
Yes.
V-E-T-E-R-A-N. Of course, in the military, it has a slightly different meaning.
Yes.
But same in the sense that you're very experienced.
Yeah.
But a slightly different meaning when it comes to maybe having taken part in a war. Yeah, exactly. But nonetheless, a veteran farmer in this case, 베테랑 농부라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 30년 넘게 이렇게 뭐 수박과 뭐 여러 가지 농작물을 재배해 온 분인데요. 재배하다 영어로 한번 보겠습니다.
Yeah.
It's a very simple verb.
Yeah.
It's to grow.
It's to grow, right? And to grow has different meanings. So to grow means, you can grow in height, but to grow something means to have successfully cultivated, nurtured, and brought a plant or fruit to maturity through care and labor.
그래요. 그래서 쉽게 그냥 grow vegetables, grow plants,
Flowers.
grow flowers.
Yeah.
네, 이렇게 얘기를 하면 되겠고요. Now, what about something that's typical?
Typical. So that means it's showing the essential characteristics of a specific group, a specific type, or a specific class. So it describes something that is normal, expected, or representative of its kind.
보통의 뭐뭐뭐, 일반적인 뭐뭐뭐라고 할 때 that's a typical watermelon. 보통 우리가 늘 시중에 보는 그런 수박이야. That's very typical of you라고 만약에 한다면은 네가 그렇게 하는 거는 보통 네가 보이는 행동이다라는 뜻이죠. This can be used sarcastically.
Yeah.
depending
typical.
depending on the situation.
Yeah.
그게 이제 약간 비꼬듯이 네가 그렇지 뭐
Yeah, if
라는
they
뜻이
did
될 수
something
있죠.
wrong, yeah.
맞아요. Friends에서 그런 대사, 유명한 대사가 하나 있긴 한데 자, 그렇게 쓰기도 합니다만 보통은 뭐 typical weather, 예를 들면 typical weather for summertime in Korea is hot and humid. But in other countries, let's say Australia for example, their summers tend to be hot but not humid.
Yeah, yeah.
Less
usually.
humid, right?
Yeah, very hot. Very hot, but less humid.
typical이라는 게 이런 그냥 보통의 전형적인 일반적인이라는 뜻이 있습니다. Alright, 다시 읽어볼게요. A farmer in the city of Changwon has grown a watermelon weighing over 23 kilograms, more than double the size of a typical watermelon sold in stores, according to city officials. Let's move on to the next headline.
An extreme, unprecedented early summer heat wave has swept across Western Europe, breaking national May temperature records in France and the UK, while sending temperatures soaring towards 40 degrees Celsius in Spain.
최근 서유럽 전역에 이례적 폭염 현상이 나타나면서 프랑스와 영국에서는 역대 5월 최고 기온이 경신됐고 스페인에서는 기온이 섭씨 40도에 육박한 것으로 알려졌습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so, we were complaining about how hot it was last night, but people in Europe, they've been suffering from the, highest ever temperatures that have been recorded for this time of year. So in France, they say more than 350 towns have recorded the highest ever temperatures for May, as an unusually intense early summer heat wave has been gripping Western Europe. National temperature records for May were broken in France and the UK, with temperatures temperatures reaching over 37 degrees in southwestern France and 34 or nearly 35 degrees at Kew Gardens in the UK. And meteorologists are attributing this extreme heat to a heat dome trapping hot air from Morocco over the region, while climate scientists say that these events are becoming more frequent and are occurring earlier due to climate change. So authorities have issued high temperature alerts across dozens of French departments, and forecasters expect temperatures in parts of Spain to approach 40 degrees Celsius later this week.
스페인은 유럽 국가 중에서는 굉장히 따뜻하기로 잘 알려진 곳임에도 불구하고 5월 날씨치고는 지금 이례적으로
It's not supposed
덥습니다.
to be this hot yet.
네, 보통 스페인 앞에 sunny를 붙여서 유럽에서는 sunny Spain이라고 많이 부르긴 하거든요.
Yeah.
굉장히 거기는 일조량이 많고 여름 내내 이제 suntanning, sunbathing을 할 수 있는 곳이라서 또 그런 걸 좋아하는 서양 분들에게는 인기가 많은 관광지이기도 한데 그럼에도 불구하고 지금 5월 달에는 이런 날씨가 이어지는 게 일반적이진 않습니다.
Right.
지금 영국은 뭐 더더군다나 지금 5월 달에 이런 30 몇 도의 날씨를 보이진 않았던 것 같은데. 네.
It's atypical.
그렇죠.
Yeah.
일반적이지 않다라고 할 때 앞에 진짜 알파벳 A를 붙여가지고요. 발음도 atypical. 그러면 일반적이지 않다. 이런 의미가 되겠습니다. Alright, let's have a look at sending temperatures soaring.
So when you send something soaring, like temperatures, it means that you're causing a rapid, dramatic increase in temperature. So when we use this in terms of weather, or when meteorologists use this phrase, it means that the weather system is causing a severe heat wave.
그러니까 여기서 주어는요, heat wave예요. 그 폭염이 it is sending temperatures soaring. 기온을 착 올라가게, 치솟게 만든다라는 뜻이 되겠죠.
Yeah.
그래서 스페인 같은 경우에는 40도에 육박한 그런 기온까지 오르게 만들었다. The heat wave is sending temperatures soaring toward 40 degrees Celsius in Spain. Toward?
Toward. So towards means to head toward or go in the direction of something. So in this case, we're talking about the temperature. So it means you're approaching or getting close to a specific number, level, or limit.
I'm looking towards you right now. I could be looking towards our listeners. You could be heading towards somewhere as well. 어디를 향해서라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. An extreme, unprecedented early summer heat wave has swept across Western Europe, breaking national May temperature records in France and the UK, while sending temperatures soaring toward 40 degrees Celsius in Spain. Here's our final headline.
A 98-year-old British man just days shy of his 99th birthday has become the oldest person in the world to perform a wing walk after completing a 9-minute flight on a biplane to raise money for charity.
99번째 생일을 불과 며칠 앞둔 98세의 한 영국 남성이 자선기금 모금을 위해 비행기 날개 위에 올라타 비행하는 일명 윙워크를 9분 동안 수행해내 이 부문 세계 최고령자가 됐습니다. Now in Korea, many years ago, there was this reality, is it called a reality TV show?
Yeah.
Where they do all sorts of dangerous extreme sports.
Yeah. Anything extreme, I guess, to the extreme.
The famous MC Yoo Jae-seok, he did this on a plane. He got up on a plane and he was sort of strapped down, but he was standing.
Yeah.
And in Korean, it was called wing walking. But in English, we say wing walk.
Wing walk, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
This time, a 98-year-old man did it. Tell us more.
Yeah, and he has become the oldest person ever to perform this feat, this wing walk. And his name is Harry Heisman, and he completed the 9-minute feat on a Boeing Stearman at Duxford Airfield. And he has fulfilled a lifelong dream, and he has earned a place definitely in the record books. So he's a World War II veteran, and he undertook this challenge in memory of his wife and son who died died from cancer. And he did this, as we mentioned, for charity. He raised about $10,000 US for the Lennox Children's Cancer Fund because, as we mentioned, his wife and his son both passed away from cancer. So the aircraft climbed to more than 1,000 meters during the flight, which he's been described as the most incredible experience of his life. And his care home staff who helped organize this challenge said his achievement demonstrates that people can continue pursuing ambitious goals well into old age.
네. 자, 몇 가지 지금 선생님 얘기해 주신 거에서 다시 언급하고 싶은 것들이 있는데요. 일단은 지금 여러 번 나온 단어입니다. feat, F-E-A-T. 아까 BTS도 하나의 feat를 이뤘다라고 했고 지금 이제 Harry Heisman 할아버지도 하나의 업적을 이뤘다. feat를 이뤘다. F-E-A-T, 업적이고요. 자, 그 다음에 조금 전에 나왔던 veteran이라는 단어가 여기서는 그 참전 용사의 뜻으로 쓰였네요. Harry Heisman, 98 years old, he is a World War II veteran.
Yes.
그래서 이게 그냥 뭐 전문가 베테랑의 의미도 있지만 참전 용사라는 뜻이 있어서 sometimes we shorten it, don't we?
Yeah.
We say vet.
Yeah.
World War II vet.
Yeah.
이렇게 얘기할 수 있고. 그 다음에 이제 이런 문화적인 얘기를 좀 하자면은 in Western cultures, tell me about these charity walks or charity runs.
Yeah.
It's very common, isn't it?
It is pretty common. So, he was doing this, he was performing some sort of feat in order to raise money for a specific cause. And I think we've talked about this before where there was a runner, I think he was into doing like extreme sports, and he decided to run across a certain distance to raise funds for, I think his mother was ailing from cancer as well. So a lot of people do things like this for a really good cause.
그래요. 우리나라에서는 그 가수 출신 션 씨가 이런 거를 가끔 하십니다. 너무나
Marathons,
좋죠. 우리말로 뭐랄까요? 자선 달리기? 이렇게 표현을 해야 될까요? 영어권 문화에서는 굉장히 흔하게들 많이 하는데 어린이 때부터 학교에서 권장하거든요. 그러니까 그냥 모금 행사를 하는 것은 약간 뭐라 그럴까 형체가 없어 보이잖아요.
Yeah.
그냥 뭐 모금합니다. 뭐 좋은데 돈 쓸게요. 돈 주세요. 이거는 좀 형체가 없어 보이니까 그런 대신에 어린이 때부터 제가 100m 뛸 때마다 저한테 1,000원씩 1달러씩, 1파운드씩 주세요 하면서 이렇게 charity run, charity walk 이런 거 많이 해요.
Yeah.
그게 지금 이제 98세 할아버지 Harry Heisman이 이런 걸 한 건데 일반 달리기나 걷기가 아니라 비행기 위에 이렇게 딱 부착이 돼 있기는 합니다만
He was sitting on a chair. But the
의자도
chair,
있었네.
the chair
그렇구나.
was kind
아무래도
of strapped down
그래요.
to a plane.
고정은 돼 있는데 이게 그 공중에서 뭐 이렇게 뭐 여러 가지 묘기도 하고 좀 위험한 것들 많이 하거든요. 근데 그 상태에서 딱 이렇게 위에 비행기 날개 위에 이렇게 고정된 상태로 있는 겁니다.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after we talked about this, so he's a World War II veteran, so he must have seen the horrors of war, but he still described this as the most, incredible experience, incredible challenge of his life.
그래요. 아마 뭐 무섭기보다는 또 의미가 있다는 의미에서 incredible이지 않았을까 하는 생각이 좀 들고요. 네, 그래서 이렇게 charity event, 모금 행사를 한 겁니다. 그래서 내가 요거를 이제 할 때 여러분이 돈을 좀 기부해 주세요 한 것이고, 그 다음에 이제, 시간 계산은 어떻게 하느냐에 따라, do you include the taxiing or not? 이거에 따라 좀 달라질 수 있는데, BBC 뉴스의 데이터를 저희가 좀 인용을 해서, 9분대로 이렇게 가보겠습니다. Let's have a look at He was just shy of 99 years old.
Yeah, if you're just shy of something, it means that you're just short of or slightly less than or falling just below a specific number, age, or target.
그렇죠. 이렇게 딱 못 미치는, 뭐가 채 되지 않는, 이제 곧 그러니까 99세가 될 건데, 아직은 안 됐다라는 뜻이 되겠죠? So he was just shy of his 99th birthday.
Yeah.
And then what's raising money for charity? We did just talk about it, but tell us again.
Yeah, so you can raise money, and that means to collect financial donations from, it could be individuals, businesses, or organizations to support a nonprofit cause or helpful public project.
그렇죠. 이게 바로 모금하는 거예요. 자선단체를 위해서 기금을 모으는 것, to raise money for charity. 그리고 이 비행기는 일반 우리 그 항공기 같은 그런 비행기 아니고요. biplane이라는 것은 이게 그 초창기의 비행기처럼 작은 그런 비행기입니다.
Yeah, with the two wings,
two
I
wings.
guess. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A 98-year-old British man, just days shy of his 99th birthday, has become the oldest person in the world to perform a wing walk after completing a 9-minute flight on a biplane to raise money for charity. Right, well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Karen.
Korea's births jumped nearly 20% in March to a 7-year high, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, as a post-pandemic marriage rebound and evolving parental attitudes pushed the fertility rate past 0.90 for the third straight month.
올해 3월 국내 출생아 수가 전년 대비 20% 가까이 늘어나 7년 만에 최대를 기록했습니다. 이는 팬데믹 이후 최근 2년간 혼인이 증가하고 출산에 대한 인식이 긍정적으로 변화함에 따라 합계 출산율이 3개월 연속 0.9명을 넘긴 데 따른 결과입니다. We're inching closer to one child. We're still under one child per woman, but let's have a look.
Yeah, Korea recorded 25,200 births in March. That marks an increase of 19.4% from a year earlier. There have been a lot more marriages recently, so that's why the birth rates have been up. This number of babies born during the month, it's the highest since 2019.
Right.
So, yeah, quite
COVID,
some time ago. But we're heading back in the right direction. Of course, we're supposed to have 2 babies per female as
in order to maintain the population, right?
Yeah. And if you look at OECD numbers for other modernized countries, it's closer to that, but we're still below 1.
We do, of course, have the lowest birth rate in the world.
Yes.
So less than 1 baby is born per woman in Korea. We're talking about women of that age where they can have babies, of course. This is a very, very low number, but it's going up, as you said. The trend is on the up. Let's have a look at marriage rebound.
Yeah, and speaking of being on the up, as mentioned, a rebound of sorts is when something is going in a certain direction and then it suddenly goes in the other direction. And typically we think of something that goes down and then back up. So in this particular case with birth rates, birth rates were going down for quite a while. Marriages were down as well during COVID, but now it's rebounded. Marriage rebound. So the number of marriages were down, but now it hit the lowest point and now it's on the upward trajectory.
그래요. 바닥을 쳤다가 다시 튕겨져 올라오는 것, 요 올라오는 것을 rebound라고 합니다. 그러니까 marriage rebound는 코로나 때 정말 급격히 줄어들었던 이 결혼 추세가 다시 이제 증가세로 오르고 있다라는 뜻이 되겠고, how about do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to quickly mention that we do hear this rebound word a lot in sports.
Yeah.
In particular, in basketball, if you take a shot and the ball doesn't go into the hoop, then somebody will get the rebound.
Yeah.
It's the missed shot. So it hits the backboard or it hits the hoop, and then it kind of bounces somewhere else, and somebody grabs that ball. Yeah. They got the rebound. And also in soccer, if you take a shot and the ball hits the post or the goalie saves it, but he doesn't hold the ball. Yeah. He just kind of blocks it. Then the ball hits him and it comes out. So it rebounds off him, and then somebody might score off the rebound. So the initial shot doesn't go in, but the ball that was stopped, then a second chance off the rebound, they can score a goal.
Exactly. 이 공이 튕겨져 나오는 그 동작에서 나온 표현들이죠. 그래서 데이터도 마찬가지입니다. 내려갔다가 그 다음에 다시 오름세일 때 rebound.
One last thing I'll just quickly mention is sometimes we do say that we're on the rebound. So if you were in a relationship and you just broke up with someone, and if you don't feel good, you're feeling miserable because of the breakup, sometimes you'll say, I don't want to meet anybody. I'm on the rebound right now.
그래요. 나 지금 이 실연 이 이별의 아픔 이후 다시 좀 추스리려고 하는 상황이야 라고 할 때도 I'm on the rebound 라고 할 수도 있어요. 자, 그 다음에 parental attitudes.
Parental, we're talking about parents or being parents. And then attitudes, kind of like how you feel about something or an approach that you might take regarding something. So in terms of parental attitudes here, we're talking about how people feel about wanting to be parents, or it could also be how they decide to be parents, or what kind of parents they want to be, could be an interpretation of it as well. But I think in this case, we're talking about how people view being parents.
I guess for the longest time, the younger generation viewed it quite negatively because it's expensive, you don't have a lot of freedom. But these days, through all sorts of, mediums, people have changed their perspectives a little bit, and now they're thinking, okay, maybe having a baby isn't so bad. And so newlyweds are having babies.
I think the government of Korea, give them credit as well. I think they've also implemented a lot of policy to make it more affordable to be parents now as well.
그렇죠. 여러 가지 이유로 인해서 부모가 된다는 것에 대한 인식이 좋아졌다. Parental attitudes. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korea's births jumped nearly 20% in March to a 7-year high, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics. As a post-pandemic marriage rebound and evolving parental attitudes pushed the fertility rate past 0.9 for the third straight month. Let's move on to the second headline.
Cases of Legionnaire's disease in Korea have surged by over 56% from a year ago, raising public health concerns as warmer temperatures, climate change, and aging water infrastructure create conditions favorable for the spread of Legionella bacteria.
전국에서 레지오넬라증으로 신고된 환자 수가 56% 이상 급증한 가운데 최근 더 더워진 날씨와 기후변화 그리고 급수시설 노후화 등으로 레지오넬라균 증식에 유리한 환경이 만들어지고 있어 보건당국의 우려를 낳고 있습니다. So this 56% increase is compared to the same period last year, from January to April. Tell us more.
Yeah, so 247 cases in that period that you mentioned compared to just 158 cases the same period last year. And last year's total case all year was 599. That was the highest since they began tracking this in 2001. So quite a large number. And this can be a dangerous disease as the disease has caused 110 deaths between 2020 and 2024. 28 fatalities recorded in 2023 and 2024 respectively.
그래요. 증상으로는 마른 기침, dry cough. 그 다음에 몸살. So you have the shivers, maybe the fever. 그래서 그냥 봤을 때는 그냥 여름 감기 아니야? 이렇게 생각할 수도 있다고 하는데요. 이게 또 안타깝게도 2020년부터 2024년 사이에 아까 100명? 110명의 사망자가
110,
네, 100명 이상의 사망자가 나왔을 정도로 치명적일 수도 있습니다. 그래서 조심하셔야 되겠고요. 따뜻한 물에서 증식을 하는 바이러스입니다. 그래서 이제 바이러스가 아니라 bacteria. 세균이에요. 그렇기 때문에 이 날씨와도 관련이 있다고 볼 수 있는 거죠. Okay, let's have a look at public health concerns.
Public health concerns, if you are concerned about something, then you're worried about it, it's on your mind, it's something that you should pay attention to and perhaps maybe do something about. When it comes to public health, well, we're talking about the health of everyone, not just you or me or the people around us. We're talking about everyone within an area, or it could be a city, it could be a country. So the concern, everyone in the area, we should be vigilant and we should know at the very least about this disease that's going around.
그렇죠. 이제 public health concerns라는 것은 공중보건 우려가 되겠고요. The conditions favorable for this bacteria are, warm water, warm climate, things like that. What's conditions favorable for something?
Conditions favorable for something means that it's a likely scenario in which something can thrive or something can be successful. So in this case, it's negative because it's a disease that can actually be successful or can thrive in this situation. So favorable conditions, let's say it's going to be favorable conditions for playing golf today because it's not going to rain. So the condition, the situation to play golf is good. It's not raining. We can do it. It's going to be positive.
Exactly. 자, favorable conditions라는 것은요, 좋은 조건, 유리한 조건이라는 뜻입니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. Cases of Legionnaire's disease in Korea have surged by over 56% from a year ago, raising public health concerns as warmer temperatures, climate change, and aging water infrastructure create conditions favorable for the spread of Legionella bacteria.
Taiwan has overtaken India as the world's fifth largest stock market, hitting a $4.95 trillion valuation, driven by an AI-fueled rally in semiconductor giant TSMC shares amid a global boom for advanced chips.
대만 주식시장이 시가총액 4조 9,500억 달러를 기록하면서 인도를 제치고 세계 5위 규모로 올라섰습니다. 이 같은 결과는 첨단 반도체 시장의 세계적인 호황 속에 대만의 반도체 대기업 TSMC 주가가 인공지능 열풍을 타고 급등한 덕분입니다. Alright, so the fifth largest stock market is no longer India, it's Taiwan.
Taiwan, a very small country in comparison to the other top four, I guess you could say. Hong Kong is pretty small as well. But the United States, China, Japan, Hong Kong, and now Taiwan is your top five. And of course, this is for the most part because of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, better known as TSMC, essentially the top semiconductor manufacturer in the world.
Yeah. 자, 그러면은 왜 그런지 이유가 지금 헤드라인에 나와 있는데요. 대만의 지금 얘기한 TSMC 주가가 인공지능의 열풍을 타고 지금 호황기 어떤 급등한 모습이거든요. 자, 그 표현을 좀 보겠습니다. AI fueled.
AI fueled, meaning AI is the reason for this. It's the force that's driving something. We've talked about driving quite a bit, and you can use fueled in the same sort of way, because a car moves, but in order for the car to move, it needs gas, and gas is the fuel that drives the car, you could say. In the same sort of way, TSMC or the semiconductor industry is what is fueling the rise for Taiwan.
Exactly. Fuel, 연료. 그래서 이것이 어떤 원인이 됐다라는 이유로 연료가 있으면 차가 움직이듯이요. 그래서 AI fueled 그러면은 AI 그 열풍을 타고 AI에 의해서 촉진이 된 무언가. 뒤에 나오는 단어는 rally입니다. What does a rally mean?
A rally is like a sudden gain of some sort. So it's a push in an upward direction for the most part, or in a positive direction, I should say.
네, 정말 많이 쓰는 표현인데요. 이게 회복, 반등의 의미를 가지고 있기 때문에 지금 주가가 굉장히 높다는 얘기를 하고 있는 거예요. 그래서 AI fueled rally, 그러면은 AI의 열풍을 타고 급등한 지금 그런 분위기 속에서 그 덕분에 driven by that 그래서 전체적으로 타이완의 주가 시장이 저희 주식시장이 굉장히 규모가 커졌습니다. Of course, there's a global boom. Let's have a look at that.
A global boom means something that is very popular around the world. And usually when we use the word boom, I mean, you think of like a big noise, right? Like an explosion causes an audio boom. You hear a loud noise. And in the same sort of way, it's like a sudden impact of some sort. And when we're talking about a boom, in this sort of sense, we're talking about like a positive impact of something that's so popular, but in a very sudden sort of outburst of a way.
그래요. Like a baby boom.
Yeah. And this is, it's global, so it's not just in one area. This is around the world. Everyone is trying to get on the AI bandwagon.
Yeah.
And in order to do so, you need these semiconductor chips that TSMC produces. So that's why this is becoming really popular because they can charge more now because it's so popular.
그렇죠. 자, 글로벌 붐이라고 하면은 세계적으로 호황을 누리고 있다라는 의미로 이해할 수 있습니다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Taiwan has overtaken India as the world's fifth largest stock market, hitting a $4.95 trillion valuation, driven by an AI-fueled rally in semiconductor giant TSMC shares amid a global boom for advanced chips. All right, let's move on to the next headline.
Scholars from Trinity College Dublin have uncovered a lost copy of a 7th century poem, the earliest surviving poem in the English language, at the National Central Library of Rome.
아일랜드 트리니티 컬리지 더블린의 연구진이 현존하는 가장 오래된 영어 시로 알려진 7세기 시가 적힌 사본을 로마 국립중앙도서관에서 발견했습니다. Right, so this very old poem has been discovered.
Yeah, we've seen texts from a long time ago that have, been found or preserved. But in terms of the English language, this is the oldest poem that we have available. It's called Caedmon's Hymn. So this goes back quite a bit to 830 AD in that era. So,
Right, so this has been found, or you said uncovered.
Yeah, something is uncovered, then it's kind of been discovered or revealed. So if you think of having something, maybe like a magician might have a handkerchief over top of something, and then when they take it off, they uncover it. So now, before you couldn't see it, but now you can. It's been uncovered. Now it's visible to everyone.
그렇죠. 이것이 발견됐다라는 뜻으로 something has been uncovered 한 단어고요. 영어로 된 시 중에서는 현존하는 가장 오래된 시입니다. This is the earliest surviving poem in English.
Something that survives, it has been alive, or it remains intact or alive. So you could say, because this is the earliest surviving, meaning that, earliest period from a long time ago, it has remained intact or remained alive all the way up until now. So it's talking about how long it's been around for, essentially, how old it is.
Earliest.
Yeah, and still intact, still in good, because it's saying surviving, right? If it didn't survive, if it's just earliest, then it might not be in good condition. But by saying earliest surviving poem, you're usually sort of implying that it's actually in pretty good condition for its age.
그래요. 뒤에서부터 좀 해석을 하면은 poem, 시인데요. surviving poem입니다. 여러 어려움, 세월의 흔적 이런 것들을 뚫고 지금까지 견뎌낸, 현존하는 시, surviving poem. 근데 그 중에서 earliest예요. 그럼 가장 오래된 현존하는 시. 그렇게 해석을 할 수 있겠죠. 자, 현존하는 시 중에서 가장 오래됐다. 이게 좀 더 자연스럽네요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Scholars from Trinity College Dublin have uncovered a lost copy of a 7th century poem, the earliest surviving poem in the English language, at the National Central Library of Rome. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Scientists may have finally solved the mystery of why the Tyrannosaurus Rex had such tiny arms, with new research suggesting evolution prioritized its massive skull and crushing bite as its primary hunting weapon.
공룡 티라노사우루스 렉스의 앞다리가 지나치게 짧았던 이유에 대해 최근 새로 발표된 한 연구는 T-렉스의 주된 사냥 무기로 거대한 두개골과 강력한 턱 힘이 진화 과정에서 우선적으로 선택됐기 때문이라는 결론을 유력한 해답으로 제시했습니다. So everything else developed over time, whereas the hands, there was no need for it.
Yeah, the theory here is essentially saying that because the head and the bite of the jaw were so effective, it's, you didn't need to have bigger or more effective arms. So they're saying that it probably just shrunk even more over the millions of years. Keep in mind, it's not like, well, last year they were really big and nimble, but all of a sudden, next year, they shrunk. We're talking about millions and millions of years for the evolution.
그렇군요. 티라노사우루스 렉스의 모습을 우리가 지금 생각하는 그 모습이 되기까지 정말 오랫동안 100만 년이 넘는 기간 동안 진화를 해서 그렇게 된 거라고 하는데 그렇다면은 어떻게 진화를 했을까? 왜 진화를 했을까? 두개골, 그 다음에는 이 턱, 굉장히 그 힘이 센 요 턱이 주된 어떤 그 무기였던 거죠. 이 T-렉스한테는. 그러다 보니까 얘네만 계속해서 발달이 되고 나머지는 그렇게까지는 발달이 되지 않고 오히려 좀 이렇게 쇠퇴까지는 아니고 뭐라 그럴까요? 이렇게 좀 퇴보하는 모습? 시간이 지나면서 이게 좀 작아졌을 수도 있다. 이런 이론인 것 같습니다. Let's have a look at prioritizing something.
If you prioritize something, then you want to do that before anything else. So it's basically more important than other things.
그렇죠. 우선시하다. To prioritize A over B. B보다 A를 우선시하다.
Often when you get on an airplane, they have something called priority boarding. So
yes.
People either with more expensive tickets or perhaps people that need assistance with children or perhaps elderly people, they'll say they have priority boarding. Please come now so that you can get on first.
맞아요. 우선 탑승. 그렇죠. 그래서 이제 여러 가지 그 조건이 맞으면은 비행기를 우선 탑승할 수 있는 그런 라이트가 주어지죠. 그래서 그때도 priority boarding 이렇게 부릅니다. 자, primary hunting weapon은요?
Primary is what you do first. And a hunting weapon is something that you use to go and capture something that you want. So in this case, it's saying that, well, the T-Rex, it didn't need its arms because its arms wasn't the primary hunting weapon. That's not what it uses to catch things. Whereas instead, its primary hunting weapon would be its jaws and its head, its bite. That's the first thing that you think of that you're going to use when hunting.
So you have the primary thing and then you have the secondary thing and it goes on. 그래서 주된 hunting weapon, 사냥 무기가 이 두개골과 턱뼈이다 보니까 그게 많이 발달했고 나머지는 그러지 않았던 게 아닐까. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Scientists may have finally solved the mystery of why the Tyrannosaurus Rex had such tiny arms, with new research suggesting evolution prioritized its massive skull and crushing bite as its primary hunting weapon. All right, well, that's it for the headlines this morning.